president's leading political opponent, the DOJ tries to literally put you in jail and give you prison time. If you are the president's son, you get a sweetheart deal.
That was the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, today, not mincing any words when asked about the reported plea deal we talked about that was accepted by Hunter Biden. He's had to be recommended probation for 2 tax violations. So our legal analyst, Whitney Traylor, joins us now. First thing I want to get to is we're hearing from Kevin McCarthy. There's a tremendous amount of political pressure on all of these cases, whether they involve the former president or the son of the current president. From a legal analytical standpoint, you can't be in a vacuum and pretend that pressure doesn't exist or move prosecutors or jurors or whoever's involved.
No, it's a good point. And unfortunately, our legal system has become polarized and politicized. And we saw that with the 2020 election when the judges all ruled a certain way. So, yeah, that is unfortunate. But here, one thing that's important is when Biden came into office, his administration, they brought in their own U.S. attorney generals, and the Trump folks resigned. All of them except David Weiss. He's the prosecuting attorney on the Hunter Biden situation. He's been on it with a grand jury since 2018. And
allowed to stay.
And they actually asked him to stay so that there could be continuity, so it would look like it's not biased or politically motivated. So in this situation, even though you raised the politics, this is about as apolitical as it's going to be, because it was a Trump appointee continuing the investigation that started in 2018.
And it's been an investigation going on, as you said, for a long, long time. And so it's like follow the money kind of thing. I mean, how else do you describe it? Because to be fair, you kind of get lost because every day it's kind of a different thing. It's
a great point. And the actual charges really relate to 2 things. First is the taxes, and it's the allegation or the plea is that he didn't pay taxes in 2016 and 2017. He subsequently paid them, but it was $100,000 each. So that's the misdemeanor. The gun charge was when he went in, and when anybody goes in to fill out for their gun, you have to check, are you unlawfully using substances or whatever? And it was clear that he was having addiction problems at the time.
Right.
And so he illegally possessed the gun, and that's actually a felony. And so, but here what they entered into a pretrial diversion agreement, essentially saying that, hey, if you, for the next 2 years, kind of keep your nose clean, then this goes away. So that was the charge. Right, yes.
So where does this go from here? Because the prosecutors are recommending probation. The judge doesn't have to go with that.
That's correct.
But likely will consider that the ceiling.
Yeah, likely. I think the judge will go with it. And again, this is not, the DOJ rarely prosecutes these kind of gun violations when there's not an actual crime committed with it. So,
the gun.
Yeah, exactly. And this started with, in 2018, they convened a grand jury, and I think the grand jury may still possibly be able to bring other charges. But David Weiss and the grand jury started with investigating the Biden family and everything that was going on with Burisma and Ukraine and all that. And all they could come up with was the tax charges. They couldn't really link any nefarious activity, and President Biden has submitted 25 years of tax returns. So now Republicans are all up in arms because they're saying there's more to it, but they've been on it for 5 years.
And they're also up in arms about what they consider a light sentence. Does that seem to be a legitimate complaint?
I think it is. I think it is a slap on the wrist. And of course, he does have some privilege, so I'm not necessarily surprised about that. But this is also within the realm of reasonableness in terms of what the DOJ prosecutes. But yeah, is there some privilege by being the president's son or the vice president's son at the time? Of course, even though they say nobody's above the law and everything's equal, when you're in those positions, it's everybody knows everybody, and of course things go smoother.
And there are people, of course, Republicans saying we want more investigations, we want to keep pushing it. I mean, they could still potentially.
And I think they are,
if they want to start in Congress and ask for more investigations, get more investigations.
Yeah, the House Oversight Committee, they are doing more investigations. I don't know if they'll be able to get anything from this criminal investigation, but they'll certainly they plan to keep going. Jim Jordan wants they want letters from Merrick Garland about why there's not more prosecution, why there wasn't a special investigator.
So this is far from over in some respects.
Far from over, yes. And of course, there's always a laptop.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about because everyone wants to conflate the Trump cases with the Biden case here, and as a lawyer and a legal analyst, if there's not a conspiracy, there can be no connection. They are maybe, people want to evaluate one versus the other maybe.
Right, and they want to look at it from a political perspective, but it is completely different because President Trump was in office. His organization, the Trump organization, was found guilty on a number of tax fraud last December. So there is a big difference with him being unrelated, but the connection that they're trying to show is that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma somehow influenced policy. But again, there has been extensive investigations and they haven't found anything. So I think that speaks for itself.
That's an examination of DOJ, FBI, et cetera, and how they handle things differently.
And even the House Oversight Committee, which they're still going, but they've also been investigating it. So I don't know what rock has been left unturned at this point.
All right. Well, we'll certainly be talking more about this one as well as it continues to evolve in many different ways. Thanks, Whitney.